we've been on a transformation journey in the last 3 to 5 years, looking at customer experience and customer service, and they're fundamentally different. So customer service, the customer expects that you know how to do your job. Customer experience means that I do it better, and you don't repeat yourself. It's easy, and maybe you don't even have to contact us, and we know what the problem is and solve it before you even do. Right? So we try to look at what are the elements that help us achieve that. So we looked at how do we serve customer first across the organization? How do we look at serving the customer where they want, when they want, and how they want? And ultimately, we looked at having the same consistent experience across all our touch points. So as MultiChoice, we've got about roughly just over 5,000 staff. I think our customer base is roughly about 7 million. So it's a huge volume of people trying to serve a tremendous amount of customers. And what we wanted to do was track and know our customer issues, and then preemptively then start engaging with those customers before they had those issues. So system-related issues, decoder-related issues, billing-related issues, whatever the case was. So create a seamless, integrated, and consistent customer journey. And that's the premise of where we started looking at what platform can we use in order to facilitate that. So we started that journey around about two and a half years ago. We looked at a few systems, and we said, okay, what's the sort of dynamic that we want to bring to the table that allows us to get to a platform that serves the customer's need? But over and above serving the customer's need, how does it help the employee or the agent that's sitting behind the platform serve the customer better? So we looked at consolidating our multi-channel sort of platforms, and we've got self-service, we've got telephony, we've got service centers, we've got web, we've got app. How do we create this consistent journey? How does each touch point know about the next touch point? So what's the golden thread that ties all these pieces together? How do we get a platform that is best at what it does, and for other best-of-breed platforms are able to integrate back into this platform? What we've done is we've done an integration between Freshdesk, Freshchat, and Freshservice. So customer A comes in, he tells us, I've been disconnected. We have AI that does pseudo sort of prediction models. And what that means is we also tag every message that we send out to a customer. So when you enter into our world, we are looking at what is your current status. If you are disconnected, you're most likely calling us firstly to know how much to pay. Either need to know when to pay, when you're going to be reconnected, and how much to pay. Right? The very rare cases is probably you want to upgrade, or we have given you a campaign, an offer, and you want to onboard yourself. But those are roughly the things that you want to do as a disconnected customer. So the prediction model says to the agent, most likely he wants his balance, this is his IP date, do you want to send an SMS to him to tell him where he can pay, or send him a payment link? So the analytics and the machine learning gateway that we've integrated gives us that sort of element. The elements around Freshdesk and Freshchat show us, have you touched us in any other touch points? And is it a trend that we find that you come back to us maybe when it's seasonal? If we can't help you, if it's out of the agent's capability to help you, that ticket then gets escalated or linked into a service desk, which is the Freshservice sort of ticketing. What that enables the support guy to do is to see what was the history of the customer, as well as when he solves the problem, it automatically solves the problem on the Freshdesk side, and a comms can go out to the customer. It also allows the support team to group multiple incidences or multiple cases of similar incidences. As an example, most likely when it's raining, guys have installation issues, you're getting an E48, I don't have signal. When we get various of those queries coming through, the service desk guys can link that as one sort of management incident, and when we solve it, we solve all 50 as an example in one shot. So it saves us going through 50 sort of different tickets. Okay? As I mentioned, one of our big challenges is around ticket properties. What agents do is they probably pick the first thing because that's the easiest thing to do. In fact, the challenge for us at the moment is getting them to link a residential customer or link customers if they have not been authenticated through any of our systems. So those are some of the challenges we got. Because if the data is dirty, there's no way our prediction models can work. There's no way another agent can help you because there's no seamless trend between the journeys. So we built our ticket properties around sort of the customer journey. So as an example, one of the journey points or one of the ticket properties is I cannot watch DSTV. And that links, and that sits across all our ticket properties for all tickets. That then breaks down into a level 2 and level 3. My decoder is not working, cable was unplugged, as an example. And what we do on an analytics side is we monitor how much of that actually comes through, because the ticket properties are now seamless across the different touch points, which means that we can aggregate them and build a trend analysis that says, actually, what is our customers actually struggling with in the journey? Is it in the explore part of the journey? Is it in the pay part of the journey? Is it in the join part of the journey? Is it in the help part of the journey? And then allows us then to focus our different teams in order to get the best value out and fix problems before they happen. Okay. I mentioned the contact list, which is linked to ticket properties. And then ultimately, what we found is we are able to, because the agent is an omni-channel agent, he's able to see the different touch points that the customer has been through. And if the customer sent us an email or into our walk-in center, there's 2 tickets opened, whoever the agent is able to merge those 2 tickets and solve it once off. So we don't get 2 different agents working on the same customer for the same problem. Okay. So what's worked for us? So we started the POC with Freshdesk around, I think it was November, December 2018. We had great support in sort of getting that off the ground during and post-launch. What worked really well for us is one roof integration. So it's incredibly difficult, especially when we're pushing the boundaries as to what the roadmap delivers against what MultiChoice wants to deliver. So one roof integration worked beautifully for us. It still works for us. And ultimately, the configuration and deployments were seamless. We struggled with understanding new ways of work. So whenever you introduced a new system to agents, they knew how to solve a problem. They just struggled to understand how to solve a problem using the new system. It took them a while to understand that you still solve the problem the same way. It's just that you tag the problem differently. And it took us a while to get the agents to understand this. So instead of having a 2-hour training session, we ended up having a 4-hour training session and sessions to understand the platform. So that's a key learning for us. Adoption of customized features. As I mentioned, we built in mechanisms to help the agent identify the customer. We found they were not using it, which meant the data was dirty, which meant this whole vision of how to achieve omnichannel was just not being realized. So we had to start making things mandatory, which obviously took away their flexibility of how they would manage in the system. We also found the team leaders and the managers didn't understand how to allocate queues. So an agent who is smart and can avoid work will put himself as unavailable, which means his teammates are getting all the work. And he would do it periodically, on, off, between the system. So that meant the work was being distributed between 4 people and there were 8 people working. And we were wondering, why were the queues just building up? It just doesn't make sense. And we understood then that actually people didn't know how to manage the queues. So even though the system had innate load balancing, you still needed a human to check that somebody was doing their work. So you didn't take away that element, but you had to build in reporting mechanisms to help them manage their team leader better. The data was readily available, but it does take time to build dashboards, etc., to get that sort of effort going. Our goal and our vision is ultimately a single UI. I want to be able to get the customer's details on a screen when he contacts me, able to see his history, able to transact on that sort of UI. And it's quite difficult because agents receive a customer But to solve his problem, if it's a billing related problem, means they need to go to a billing UI, or they need to go to a support UI, some other UI that is not part of their regular environment. And obviously that's disturbing their Facebook or Instagram that's open as well, right? So how do you bring all works of what they need to be into the single UI? And that's why we started looking at how do we start integrating. So the challenge is still there. There are some limitations on the platform, but we've successfully integrated our telephony platform onto the Freshdesk platform. We've successfully integrated our queuematic queuing system onto the platform. We successfully integrated our agent assist, which we call Tumi, which is an IBM backbone to cognitive services. And we're busy building out customer facing a bot, which will be Tumi customer facing on the chat side. So we've done this multitude of integrations. We've then built a back-end string back into our CRM so that we can start enriching data. The next big thing for us from a touchpoint perspective is on our self-service platforms and messaging. And the reason for that is if you get a message from us, the agent doesn't necessarily know about it today. So when you call us, if we can see that, or the agent can see that we've messaged you within the last 24 hours, most likely you're calling us for that message. And he has access through that message in order to see how we can help you, right? So those are big elements in our space right now. Then we've done this rollout, and it's been quite aggressive rollout, but there's elements within each division that we need to go back into and look at how do we customize this platform specifically for their ways of work. We haven't done that yet. So we've taken the vanilla, we've given them a ticketing properties, we've built the ticketing properties based on customer journeys, but I haven't actually looked at this division does this specific work. Maybe I need to tailor a piece specifically for them. And that'll be a big piece that we will do in 2021, or our financial year 2021. And then finally, we want to do deeper AI and bot assistance, and that's building out an MI gateway, a CRM gateway, and then putting predictive, what we call predictive, I can't remember the name now, funny enough, but it's predictive engagement of the customer, and using real data sources to do that.